I thought that was good.
Welcome to the Cali Weigh-In Podcast with Juan and Chris. We have a special guest today, Jacob Wright. So on today's podcast, we're going to be talking about Super32 early qualifier, right? Some of the results, talk about some of the kids, how they did. And then obviously we're going to be talking to Jacob Wright. He's going to be helping us break that down, give us a little bit about what he's doing on his program and what the future holds and what he hopes to bring to the Central Valley.
Yep. And we'll cover a little bit of who's number one, since we had two guys from California wrestling in there as well.
Yeah, that'll be exciting, man.
Yeah.
Zepeda doing some crazy stuff, Merrill. That would be really good.
Yep. Dragon Warrior, Merrill.
That's crazy. The song, I mean, we probably should do that for the intro.
Yeah. No, sure, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm from Visalia, California. Grew up wrestling. My dad was a coach for 20 years in the area for Hanford, Redwood, and Dinuba. Went to Dinuba High School, was a two-time state placer, second and fourth. Wrestled my first 3 years at Fresno State, one-time qualifier there, and then did my last 3 years in graduate school at the University of Wyoming. Qualified two times there, or 3 times. So altogether 4-time NCAA qualifier, over 100 career wins, one-time round of 12 NCAAs. So yeah, I had a good career. Didn't accomplish all my goals, but gained a lot through the sport. And what we're going to talk about is I'm excited to pass on that knowledge.
Absolutely. So Jacob, tell us a little bit so that the audience knows, like, now you're back in the Central Valley, the hotbed of California wrestling. Yep. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing and what you started back here in California.
Yeah, so came back. Number one, my family's back here. Fiance's back here, and one of the other biggest reasons is after family, it's wrestling, neck and neck right there, man. Wrestling, the most important thing in my life, always has been, always will be. This is the best wrestling, I believe, in the country, and I think we still leave a lot of meat left on the bone when it comes to these kids' talents and what they can achieve, and I'm excited to help these guys achieve more and even do more than what they may have even imagined. So yeah, I'm running a club and offering things like privates and a club at actual kids practices and stuff, and helping kids achieve their goals, and yeah, helping any way I can.
All right. And so are you thinking about like coaching at the college level, staying at the club level? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So far at this point, I'm considering some options, but for the most part, I think I want to stay at the club level because then I can help anyone, man. I want to be able to help all these kids, and I think the best way for this area to get better really is to add more depth to this area. You know, we're not going to be as good as we can be if we only have one school just dominating this area. We need a deep level of kids here pushing to be good, and all these schools can have guys going Division I every year, and competing for world titles and all that, getting on world teams. So, and that's what I'm here to do. These kids have goals to compete, whatever. I'm going with your guys' kids, Super32. Like, let's roll, let's go. I'm here to help you guys and be assistance any way I can.
So with that, how you're saying that, all the schools can get it, and California's mainly been predominantly dominated by like 3 or 4 teams.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, that's great, and that's a testament to those schools, man. There's been traditional powerhouses, your Bakersfield, BHS, Buchanan, Clovis, Poway. That's really those are the teams that are going to win it. Everyone knows.
Why do you think that is, though, Jacob? What do you think that is where the center of gravity goes?
One, the people there have built. I mean, you have the families there. The Varners built BHS. The Terrapellis built Clovis. Branstetter out there. There's families, and Gilroy's been another one out there. What Greg Vela did, and DC taking over. But there's been people that have stayed there a long time, and they put the work in to build those programs, and it's a machine that keep rolling. So a big part of it is getting a good coach and building a program. It's hard work. And it's hard to get everyone a coach to do that. There's not many guys coming that have that NCAA wrestling experience they're coming in with, and we don't have 100 of those coming around to coach a high school team or whatever. I'm not saying you have to be a good wrestler to coach, because I know a lot of them, I don't know what some of their wrestling backgrounds are. I know a few that didn't even go to college wrestle, but they're great coaches and program builders. But yeah, I just don't think we have as many going to high school coaching, but that's where I saw my value. I'm like, man, I can help everyone. If you're at a smaller school, not the best school, you don't have access to the high level of wrestling. I mean, that's where I want to fill the gap. I mean, you don't have to have your parents pick up and move and drop everything and go to this other town because that's the only high school you can win. Stay at your high school, whatever, or get where you're comfortable. And I really believe, yes, it's important to be a part of a good program, but a lot of the work, as you guys know, it's going to be on your work. It's going to be up to you how much you're going to put in and how much you want it. So for those kids that really want it and want to do more, I'm here for them.
No, it's great. I mean, there's a lot of good programs in the Central Valley, right? You have Dethrone, you have Red Wave, all these different programs that are doing something to get these kids, and a lot of these kids stay going to that club.
Some
program.
of them do, yeah. Now, do you think you being from a smaller school originally, do you think that helps shape your mentality? Where it's like, I don't really want to go to a big program. I want to help like the little guys.
Yeah, and I work with Buchanan. I work with these kids because I know they also need to put in more. What they're doing with their coaches is awesome, but as your kids, they need to do more to achieve their goals. So it's for everyone, whether you're a big school or small school. But I think I always have a little soft spot for the small schools because I was part of that, and it is hard. You don't have the partners, you don't have that legacy. You never seen the guy in front of you, and that's also why these big schools keep winning. I've seen the guy in front of me go win it. Gives you a lot of momentum, a lot of confidence. I've seen this before. That's why you see it with Penn State even, man. Those guys are clutch because they've seen it. They believe it. Yeah. It's easy to believe when you've seen it. I'm trying to help the guys who they've never even seen it.
Right. And it's something. Well, it's interesting you say that because I think even at any program, a major program like that, I do believe that regardless of how people feel, whether or not a big school, little school, whatever you want to do, look, you have the Miguel Estradas of the world.
Right.
Yep.
He's an outlier, right?
Tommy Thompson. Yep. You have some of these schools that didn't have the big names, and those kids found a way. Now, no mistake, they are all byproducts of tons of training at different places. They go and they find a way to continue to get better.
Club teams, they've all competed national. So from a small school like here, obviously, other than like Clovis recently, they've been real adamant about we don't need to go anywhere. We don't need to do the Super 32s, all this stuff. What's your thoughts on that from kids from smaller schools going to that national level?
You got to do a lot. Even when my dad was very smart, he took us around everywhere to go wrestle, man. We would go up to Cal State Bakersfield back then when Jerry Abbas was running the Dave Schultz Elite. We went everywhere. We knew we needed more partners. We knew it was me and one other kid, really, Isaiah, were at that level to compete. We're only state placers, and we were still 3-4 weight classes apart, so we can't. I'm too heavy for this guy,
right.
So yeah, we could give each other a little bit. He gives me speed, I give him strength, but we know we need. And my dad, he's built programs, up from nothing, but he knows too. I need to get these guys more access, better technique, people who know more than me. They need to get different partners, and that's what good coaches should recommend, really. So yeah, I love that those kids have pride in their schools and all that, but they should know if they have these goals. I mean, it's okay. Go get some help, and you can't stay at school, but you gotta go compete. You gotta go in different rooms. You
gotta go find whatever it is going to take you to that next level.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I would ask you: Are you bringing freestyle to your program?
Yes, 100%. I think year-round. I mean, it's year-round wrestling. That's what I'm here for. Year-round, if you want to train, I'm going to be available. So we know, that June, July area, April, that's freestyle season. So that's what I'm here for. I mean, these guys that want training, and that some programs don't. They don't put man, the folk style season's hard enough. It's hard enough down in, and it's hard for high school coaches to stay locked in and train guys. I mean, they have families too. So that's why I want to be that bridge gap. Hey, you want to go to Fargo? You need some help training? Let's get you ready and let's do it right. So yeah, I'm here for guys that want to do freestyle and get on world teams or Fargo, whatever it is.
So right now, with you just starting off, so we've been going to you, so our kids go to you and all that. So you're using one of the high school rooms or middle school rooms in Visalia. Is your goal later on to get like a building?
Yep. We're in the process of getting a building. Yep. Trying to get my personal life settled, and then we'll go on a building, and that'll make things a lot more convenient because I can get in any time. Right now, my schedule gets packed. You got to get in a week in advance, really, because I have these certain times the rooms are available for me. These middle schools and high schools because they also got programs too. So
right.
So once I get a building, which is the goal, hopefully within the next 6 months or so, I'm eyeing some stuff. Then I can really get full time going and open up some more availability.
This segue.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to understand, what is the methodology? What do you think, what you bring to the table for these kids that's different? Like I personally, because we do use you, right? I would say for us, so in all fairness and disclosure, we've been using Jacob for some time, years.
Yeah.
When we were still at Fresno State here, the pandemic happened. We had no access to anything, and as Jonathan's gotten a little bit bigger, we needed bigger partners and somebody that can push him. And you can't be the best kid in the room because it's just you're never going to evolve. But bringing that, and what is it that you think that, okay, I saw something in you immediately. So this kid's got a work ethic. He's got this desire, this passion for the sport. That's why we wanted to do this, right? Because we tried other people from Fresno State.
Yeah.
Didn't necessarily work out, but you were always on time. You always showed up when you were supposed to do. Those are things that are important.
No, punctuality. It shows someone's character. Yeah.
So what else do you think? What can you tell us a little bit about the methodology? What do you think?
Yeah. Number one, I'm the son of a coach. I probably got a lot of those traits in me that I'm not even aware of I was raised with or whatever. I think like that. That's how my brain works. Even when I was an athlete, I've always had sympathy for coaches and what they're doing. It's hard work, man. But I've always had that passion for helping others. And I'm just passionate about the sport. You mentioned I'm passionate about wrestling. I mean, I love wrestling, man. It's the greatest sport on earth. And it just teaches so many lessons. So I'm excited to teach kids and help them. And I think what really separates me from, anyone else, any other thing similar, is really I'm fresh out of college. I mean, that's huge. I'm in top shape. I of course have had a bunch of injuries, but I'm in the top shape of my life. I don't have a family yet. I have all the time in the world to just invest in these kids. That's all I want to do. And they get their hands on a former D1 wrestler, a guy who's then fresh off NCAA tournament. So they don't get that a lot around here. And that's, like I mentioned, one thing I've told you guys before. One thing we're missing in this area, which I think could put us in the next level, is we don't have that elite club of former D1 wrestlers they could just get their hands on any point. They don't have a RTC around here anymore. We used to have Fresno State. They're not getting their hands on that higher level. And like you mentioned, you can't be the baddest guy in the room and expect to raise levels. You got to go get challenged.
Which it's true. Like you're saying, like you go to PA and they got March Teller's club. He's still competing at the world level. You got David Taylor, all those guys over at Penn State. They have their own little club. So all those kids over there are getting access to these world level guys. That's definitely something that's definitely missing from the Central Valley.
Absolutely.
We're really starting to see in college lately. I swear, every year I get in college, I'm like, these guys are ready, younger and younger, and I'm like, geez, but it's because they've been rubbing elbows for so long, and that's what I think I offer these guys. And one thing I picked this up from Coach Steiner, because Coach Steiner was big into this at Fresno State. He learned it from Gable, Iowa. A lot of coaches say, "Oh, I'm never going to have you do something that I've never done." You've heard that coaches say that. The Iowa styles, I'm never going to have you do something I'm not going to do with you right now. They'll do it with you. They'll stand right now. Let's go run that mile. Let's go. I'm on the mat with the guys. I do it. I train every day. Some coaches, they let the diet slip. Oh, I'm not training. It's about the kids. No, I know. If I'm going to ask these kids and tell them what they need, I need to do it too. I need to be. That's what I'm about. I'm all about accountability and help these guys get better. And I hold myself to it too still.
No, that's impressive. Yeah. Because you don't get a lot of that, right? In different rooms, I think some of that perspective that you're giving them, I can say I'm in awe when I sit in the room and I watch. I love the part of the technical wrestling. But to watch you do what you do, it's mostly like that knowledge that you do pass to them. It's, no, dude, that's not good enough. That isn't going to work. Here, this is why you would do it like this. Now, you're just giving them options and things that they can try. But the beauty of watching you work and drill with the kid is, I will tell you that sometimes, like especially for my son, the light bulb does come on, and it's a thing of beauty, right? You want to bottle that shit so you can save it for later and use it when you need it. But it's impressive to see that, and it is. You're fresh out of college, and you have a different perspective. I think this season will be very telling for you because you'll see the wear and tear of all of that, right?
Yeah.
But
So with that, like how you're saying, you're talking about the Iowa and Iowa style and all that. So do you feel you bring a certain style of wrestling to your club kids?
Yeah, and a couple. And I pick up some things from my dad. I give props to him because he's, like I said, he's built programs in Hanford. He had guys like Chad Mendez. He's built very good wrestlers too. So I've stolen things from him. So none of my ideas, most of them aren't really my own, and a couple here and there, but I see what works. I'm like, I like that. I'm taking it. Steiner from the Gable tree, Branch from John Smith coaching tree, and I seen different things. I'm like, I can see this could be better, or whatever, or I really like that. So I kind of take it all and match it in my own style. That's really how I go about approaching sport and coaching.
So do you see yourself having like a big room with 50, 60 kids in the room, that kind of thing?
That's my dream, man. Yeah, that's totally what I want. Where we have every day it's packed, man, with kids of all ages. I want to get to the point where, this is kids practice, the high school kids practice, and it's a bunch of kids every day, man. That's the goal. And obviously these kids are going to their high school programs, so that's a little different during the season and stuff. But I want to get to that point where these guys, like, people are making the life adjustments. Hey, we need to get here and get in this room because this is the best room to be in. Because the partners, because the coaching, because the accountability. And that's my dream, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's important. I think what you'll find, I think in any program. So we've been around a little bit, seen a little bit of things.
Right, yeah.
And what happens is you can't watch everyone, right?
Yep.
In a big setting, and there is a time and place for absolutely having other people in the room. You get multiple looks, you get different partners.
Yep.
You're training, you're working, and you're building a bond.
Mm-hmm.
But then there is also that time and place, something that you probably can talk about a little bit about at the college level, right? They practice, and then there's another practice, and then there's another practice where the coaches maybe break down something with you on one-on-one, and you got to go out and seek that out, right?
Yep.
Could you talk a little bit about that?
Exactly, and that's totally what I think. These privates, these individual, I do them more often with the high schoolers again because they have their own teams and stuff, and that's exactly, they have great coaches, and that's why it's no knock on these coaches, but like I said, they have a whole team, 40, 50 kids to worry about. It's hard to hold the kid accountable to every single rep. That wasn't good. Do this better, because they got other kids to walk around to.
Right, they got to pay attention to the whole team.
Yeah, so that's why these privates are so beneficial, because I'm with you. You're taking all the reps. This practice is about you. We're going to get the most out of this. So 100% see value in that, but I do eventually want to get to the point where I have my own room too, because I want to build a culture, and the way to do that, team practice too. So it's a little bit of both. Eventually, yeah, it'll really be a service in the off season, so that way I can build a staple and a brand, because like I said, we can work on a lot of this stuff, and unless you hold it accountable yourself and you go back to your room, that's when it's really going to work.
Now with your privates, like you're saying, so with certain kids, like obviously they say CJ goes with you, John goes with you. Now when you set up a practice for them in a specific way, do you like watch film of something they might have done, or you've seen them wrestle and stuff like that?
Yeah, I've watched their matches before. I've watched certain matches. I'm like, yep. It's funny. At first I didn't, but I would just sometimes watch film on them because I had an inkling. I bet they struggle with this. I bet they struggle with that. I'm like, let me go make sure. I go watch. I'm like, yep. But when they've lost, that's how they lost. I have an inkling, but I go make sure. I do some homework. And then I go watch some film on some of the best guys in their weight class, or guys I think that look like them. I'm like, this guy's short, compact, or this guy's a little small. He's fast like him. He's long and lanky like him. They have some of the same attributes. Let me see what they're doing. They're the best in the world at their weight class, whatever. Let me see how they're attacking it. They're a single leg guy. And I watch how they attack, and they don't waste time. They get their stuff, and I'm like, yeah, we can do this. So look, I watch film as just a little confirmation. Most of the time I'm right on the right pace, but I just check. Am I working on the right stuff?
No, that's good. Yeah.
And I write all my practices out before, and I write notes after. And so, yeah.
That's pretty impressive, because it's hard to find that, right? There's a lot of rooms where they just come in to the typical grind.
Right.
But, again, I am impressed with just your demeanor, your work ethic, and that is what's drawn us to him, right? And mostly it's, at least for my son, he doesn't say much, right?
Yeah.
So he goes in the room, and it's funny because then we'll leave, and he's telling me about what he just
I think we say enough for both our kids. Anyway,
yeah.
So
right. But he gets in there, and he I think he is absorbing, and it's important because everybody learns differently. So everybody comes for different reasons.
Yeah.
At your academy, right, that you're going to start, as you go through, can you envision yourself doing clinics and all this other stuff, and you're going to other places, maybe to a high school, maybe to a middle school room, to help and grow that as well?
Yeah, and I've already done that. I mean, really since 2020, I've been going to high schools and helping out, doing clinics for them, and helping any way I can. So if high schools do want to get a hold of me, I'm not stealing anyone's kids or trying to just work with them in my setting. If you want to invite me and we can work something out, I have clinic rates and all that stuff, and I would love to come into people's room and just share the knowledge. I'm an open book, man. There's no secrets in wrestling. Like I said, I give kids all the secrets, and I can't get them to win sometimes. It's going to take them to take that stuff and implement it. So a lot of people are weird like that in wrestling. I don't want to share what I do, and I want to keep my knowledge, and that's for sale only. I'll give you. I'll tell you what I know in my knowledge, my experience.
There's no secret move in wrestling.
Man.
There isn't.
There isn't. Yeah.
It's an execution thing, right?
Right.
And go out there, do it right. I mean, we're going to break down, like, you're going to help us break down this weekend. I mean, I was glad to see you out there. You went out to the Super 32 Gilroy qualifier, which was it was a lot of fun just to get back on the mat, those kind of things. Right? But for you, I am just, again, from the outside looking in, the knowledge that you have and the things that you're trying to bring to the table, taking it to a program, any high school program, I personally think you make that program that much better. But you and I know you're going to have a handful of kids who are crazy, and their parents are crazy. They would drive.
I don't think we're crazy, dude.
You want to win. That's what I said. If you want to win, you'll do the work.
Right. You'll find a way to get better. Yeah, that's right. But I do think that when the off season for you, the off season would be all on season, right?
Right.
Yeah.
What would you do, or what do you do during that time frame? 4 days a week, 5 days
It's
a
like
week.
basically bridging the gap between the regular season
Right.
until, since you're primarily private based as of
Yeah.
right now, right? So,
Yeah. Well, I still have my little kids program, and that's going to take a lot of my time in season. So we'll focus on that, and that's going to take a lot of time in season. That's a totally different animal, and it's fun. Like I said, we're going to get into that later when we talk about the tournament. But I get to experiment a lot too, because I teach a lot of high level stuff, and I hate calling things high level. I hate calling things basics. I don't tell the kids this is going to be a high level technique. This is going to be basic, because I'm already shaping what to think about that technique.
Right.
We're just going to teach it, and so I teach these guys, these kids stuff, and some of it's really high level, and they get it fast. Some of it's so it's funny. It's fun to coach these kids from scratch. They don't know nothing, and I get to experiment. What if you were taught this first? And I have fun doing that during the season. So that's going to be taking up a lot of my time. And
like even Greg Varela, who's a phenomenal coach at Gilroy, did a lot of great things at Los Gatos, continues to do great things. His philosophy is teach them the exact same thing.
Yep.
Whatever the concept is, never was a guy that said this is high level stuff. This isn't
just cut and paste
even the little guys.
Cut and paste everything.
He did that in Gilroy. Had the little Hawks. Had his Hawks. And what I love that he used to do, and it's hard because if you don't have a big room, you can't do that. So the big guys, right? The guys that these little guys are looking up to and say, "Oh my God, that's so awesome."
Like the high schoolers and stuff like that.
Like Chase Saldate or whoever, right? They grab a little hawk at the end of practice, right? Grab them, and then they would play roll with them. Boom, boom. And these guys, it just made their day. Like they just got to roll with Chase Saldate or Nick Aguilar, whoever. And that was something that Greg did that helped them, I think, kept the room fresh and adding more people. He had more people to know what to do with, right?
Nothing is helping you become a better wrestler than coaching. It's making you think about the sport. I mean, there's a lot of guys, I know so many good wrestlers who first time doing a clinic and they don't even know what they do. Like, I don't know, I just go out there and wrestle. I don't know how to explain to do it. They're just not good coaches, and they know that, and they struggle. But it's good for wrestlers, even if they're not going to be good at it and they're not going to do it long term. It is awesome to get your kids thinking about, how would I teach that to somebody? Because they're going to learn, I have to swish them out. They're going to be thinking what I do, and they're going to make sure they do those details when they go wrestle. So it's huge. That is a smart thing. I didn't know Greg did that. But that's really smart.
That was pretty cool to see. I mean, I would just sit there, and for me, I mean, we spent 2 years under Greg. It was therapeutic. I like wrestling. So I'm crazy some of the veins, but I could sit there and just like kind of when I go in your room and I watch you guys drilling.
Yeah,
I'm just mentally taking notes and watching, and it's pretty cool to watch you try to pass on the knowledge and get a guy to do something that, one, he may not want to do, or two, doesn't know how to do,
right? Yeah.
And then to watch them execute it, it's a thing of beauty, right? To be able, that's the whole goal of a mentor, is to say, I pass on knowledge, and now you're executing. So that was pretty cool. But anything else you want to share about Wright Academy and some other things that your program that you want to put out there to people, to the audience? And
so Instagram's Wright Wrestling Academy. You can reach me on there. DM me, get my phone number, set up private schedules for high schoolers. That's mainly what I'm doing right now for high school, because that's just what is really manageable, and I think best for them as of now. And then kids club, really you're 14, you're 12 and under. I'm full time with them, man. We go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 to 7. And
now, where do you guys do that at? That way people can know kind of.
We're at Mill School right there, Green Acres and Visalia. So we're over there, and it's been fun, man. So
we'll push your info in here. We'll tag it. We'll make sure
we'll put a link
so people know where to reach you.
Yeah.
Or even you can send it to us. I think you follow our Instagram page. We got a new Instagram page, everybody. Just so you know, come check it out.
And look, I'm really excited about this, and we're gonna, kind of segue into the Gilroy. Yeah. What happened at Super 32?
You guys were both there. I was not there. I was doing my other job, refereeing high school football.
Heck yeah.
So you guys are gonna take more of this than anything.
Yeah.
Oh my God. First tournament. Is this your first tournament as a coach now? Is that the official or no?
I went to like a real small one in Farmersville maybe a month ago. It was probably like 6-man brackets with just one of my cousins.
Little guys, okay.
Yeah.
Now, how many kids from your
I would
academy
consider this
you have?
my first. We have about like 12.
Okay, you got a pretty good group there.
Yeah, logo squad, and I like it because I get to give them all the attention in the world. So
yeah. So tell us a little bit. What did you think? I mean, you're running around from mat to mat. Yep. Now you're doing the coach thing.
Yep.
Batshit crazy parents behind you yelling crazy shit at the ref. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh man, youth wrestling's crazy. It's crazy, and it's funny if you look at if you just pick any high level wrestler's brain or you see any of their tweets and stuff, they're like, they even say stuff, but man, these parents got to relax. It's not that serious. I get it. I'm crazy about wrestling too, but yeah, you see some crazy wrestling.
Well, the emotion, people get emotional. It's an emotional sport.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't think that the parents sometimes, like, we all have crazy filters, but it's not personal, right?
No.
Nothing that's said or yelled or anything is ever meant to be mean or disrespectful.
Yeah.
I can say on the record, I've never been kicked out of a tournament. Right?
I can't say that because I've been kicked out of several tournaments. So
and I'm coming from bias because I haven't had a kid. I'm sure when I have a kid, I'm gonna be one of those crazy dads too. But yeah, it's the funniest thing. They think this is the most serious thing in the world, and it is to them because every match is the next match is the most important match. It is. That's how it is. But yeah, I mean, when you have the perspective, when you've been at a higher level, you're like, man, this stuff's not the most important thing in the world right now. I get it, but you just have to look at it from a growth standpoint. Man, we're doing this to get better. This is not the most important thing in the world. This isn't our world title, man. This is just to get better.
So would you say the kids are more nervous or the parents, or how?
Oh man, everyone's a nervous wreck. So it's like, hey, take a deep breath. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. Someone's gonna be a winner. Someone's gonna be a loser. It is what it is. Either way, you're gonna have to get better. You could pin everybody. I'll go find something for you to get better at.
So I noticed you didn't lose your voice though.
No, I don't coach that hard. I can't stand coaching hard. You're not gonna win. But I do get vocal. I make sure I do it because that is a thing, balance. If you can get the ref going, I can get the guys installed. Hey, we got to be offensive. Oh man, you're taking all the shots. It's coming. You can say stuff like that to put the pressure on the match, which that is important.
So you're not going to be a brand style wrestler where you're out there fist pumping.
No, but I'm not going to do that because I don't beg anybody to. If I need to beg you to shoot or beg you, it's probably over. You're probably
we got a problem.
Yeah, we got a problem, and that's the point. I don't want to beg people to wrestle.
Right.
And yeah, I'm not. And the kids are already trying. Most of the kids don't go. They don't want to lose.
No.
And I did have a couple kids just laying on by. I don't need to yell at them. You're laying on your stomach. Yeah, you're being a wuss or whatever. Just I don't need to do that. I saw it though. I saw that.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm like,
it's the dads or the moms. The moms get there like that too, man. I'm saying. I've watched them.
Sometimes I think the moms take losses harder than we do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get in trouble. You didn't even do anything.
I know CJ lose a match. His mom freaking disowns him for at least a couple hours. Dude.
Yeah.
Man, he's just gone.
Yeah. But on camera, I just tell him, hey, you got to get up on him. This is important right now. This is important. You don't need. They're already going to war, man. They're already. They're doing the hard thing. They're the ones out there, and that's what I
will tell you this
because I was out there.
The passion will come out, right? And it is about being passionate. But it's. I always tell my son, at least for me, I would say, Jonathan, you have no idea how much I love this sport.
Yep.
But I can't love this more than you do.
Right.
Yeah.
And
100%.
I will move the earth for you. We will help you get whatever. But at the end of the day, you have to lift. You have to drill. You have to do the things that need to happen. And it doesn't matter. I could take you all over the world and get you all the best training in the world. But if you don't execute, it doesn't matter. And the reason we take you to these places is because you are doing, most of the time you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to be in the match.
Yep.
So, but I do see cornering is, in my opinion, a little different than coaching.
Yes.
I think
it is.
Pump that kid up and get him ready for that match and he's ready to go. But like you said, if I got to get you to that point, chances are you're not. If I got to constantly be in your ear, get off the bottom.
Right.
What are we doing? Why are we laying there? You're not listening. Then we got a different problem.
And I was a kid who used to feed on them. There's a couple coaches I can name or not name, but I would love when they were just saying stuff because they get so mad when their wrestler's not wrestling. I'm like, yes, I got him. This guy, I got him.
Because it frustrates them.
So you got to know that as a coach too. You're giving this guy energy, and it may be the wrong guy.
Right.
So you're trying to give your wrestler energy. You got to be conscious of that. You got to be conscious of the ref too. How he's thinking. I was conscious in one of our finals matches. I needed a guy to make it look like we were wrestling and not stalling, but I don't want to say it because then he's gonna call us for stalling. Right.
My favorite one is when the coaches yell, "He's tired! He's
Right.
tired!" You don't know he's tired. They're both tired, man.
Right.
Yeah.
They just went 3 minutes of hell. The best part, look, I watched this weekend, right? So I watched Jacob interact with the kids, and I think in the beginning he was like, okay, trying to, trying to figure it out, right? What's going on here? And then by the end of it, he's jumping around from mat to mat as the matches are coming and stuff. So
from a parent perspective, what did you think then?
He doesn't get animated, right? And we all go through those phases, but I think at this point too, at least I can only speak for my kid, and I don't want to put anybody. So when he's doing what he's doing, it's a thing of beauty, and we're yelling execution, execution. You make a mistake, and whatever, those things happen. But it's the breakdown after that I always thought was important.
Yep.
Hey, well, what did you do right? What did you do wrong? What can you do different? And not just let this kid grab his headgear, launch it across the room, or do something stupid, right? It's unacceptable to me. I would never let my child do that.
No, never.
But did you witness anything like that? Did you see anybody like getting, cheetah flips, whatever? Because I think we talked a little bit about that. I'm not trying. If you don't want to talk about it, it's fine.
Good, yeah. No, yeah, I saw a few kids. So I get it. And then if you're not upset, there was a problem. We got a problem if you like losing. Nobody likes losing.
No.
But go back to quotes. I love quotes. People say, you got to hate losing more than you love winning. To some degree, I think that's true. You can't, it's not, dang it, don't lose. Like, it's not acceptable. We don't like losing. Same time, I think you got to love getting better even more. You got to love the sport. You got to love getting better more than you like winning or losing. Because you can win. And if you're not still getting, someone's going to beat you, man.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not,
nobody's going to be undefeated.
If you just love not losing or love winning and you're not focused on getting better, they just love this sport and they'll put hours and hours and hours and they love getting better and they watch film and they will get you. They'll catch you because you're just obsessed with results.
Right. And it happens to the best of the kids. I don't think, people take losses. Yanni, name the guy, right?
Yeah.
Jordan Burroughs. They're at the top of the game and you're always trying to perfect your craft.
Yeah. There's always somebody out there working just as hard as you, if not harder, right? So.
Yeah.
So you guys want to break down this thing a little bit?
Did you see anybody in weights that surprised you?
Oh, absolutely. I should have had a taco bet. My man, Anthony, or who, I don't even remember who we were talking about. But some of these kids are much, much bigger than I thought. Coming into the season.
No, there's some stuff to where they're not even getting down the weight because it's a qualifier.
But even then, brother, like these kids were like, let's say last year wrestled at like say 108s or whatever, and now we're at 140 or 138. Like wow, and they're growing. Of
course,
and it depends. Like some kids, they kind of dial it in when they need to dial it in. They don't stay dialed in year round, or maybe that's not what they're doing. But yeah, we'll talk a little bit about this.
What you just said, I did see a lot of kids probably at the weight classes I don't think they're gonna be at or should be at. It's a tough thing because these kids not in season. It's one of those preseason.
No, as a college wrestler, you guys, they cut weight. That is what it is. Did you see any kids at this tournament that looked like he probably cut a shit ton of weight already?
I did see some kids too. I'm like, dang, they're already like in season form. I don't know if that's the right way to do it. It's weird because in college we don't have tournaments in September unless you're in the World Championships. That it is for the most part. When these kids, I did hear some kids that maybe the weights they should have been. Oh man, this guy's so. I don't want to. If you make the decision where I don't want to cut right now, that's cool.
Yeah.
Totally. You're a growing kid, whatever. But I never want to hear I didn't get off bottom or I didn't do this because this kid was strong. I don't want to hear strong. What
you chose to do whatever
you chose to do that.
Yeah.
So it's because that kid's better and I need to get better. That's got to be the only response. Otherwise, don't get.
And I tell people like I don't want to hear it. You cut or you don't cut. It's the choice that you make. But at the end of the day, results are what matter.
Yeah,
winning.
Well, we've seen it, right? Kids that were real good in high school, they get to the next level. They don't.
It's a whole nother thing. I mean, the speed, the technique. This is what I do like is. It's the continuation when we do drill with you that, okay, that hesitation that high school killers, that most of them have, right? The top elite guys are learning not to hesitate. They go and they fire and they continue to attack. But this younger generation, I think they still don't understand, hey, okay, I'm going to fire off. Oh, no, I didn't feel right, so I'm going to reset it. Or I'm pulling away versus pushing in and continuing to look for an attack.
Yeah.
Just wrestling through position.
Right. I didn't finish. Did I score? Why did I stop? Right.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this. 106, right? No, it was scratch weight. So there was no.
So they went right at 106. It wasn't no plus 2, 3 or anything like that. Okay.
Now, I think I've noticed there, right? So who won it? Anthony Garza.
Okay, so Clovis kid.
Clovis kid won that. There was a couple other kids that I thought would have been, pretty good. You had Paulie Reese, right?
Well,
he was there.
He's an 8th grader.
Sure.
Right? So
they've had great matches. They've gone back and forth.
Summer scrambles. I think they were 2-1 going into it. With I think Paulie had the edge right going into it.
Yes.
I think.
So it was 3-2. I don't know if any of you watched that match, but there was a little controversy at the end whether or not it was 2 or 9. So
producer Anthony was there.
Do you remember that?
What did you say, dude?
You saw it?
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was reversal or not.
Right, right. It was a hard call.
Went either way. Those guys always go back and forth.
Right, and it was a really good match.
Who would have had the reversal? Paulie, because Paulie lost, right?
Paulie lost.
He got reversed.
He got reversed.
He
Right.
was on
That's
top.
how it ended up being.
So that's where he got the 2 from. Okay.
Really good match. And if
Right,
people in the Central Valley know who those 2 kids are, they're studs.
sure,
They're going to be up and coming.
Right.
Right. Little guy Wade here. So, and then Garza goes into the finals against Barker. Man, I don't remember where this kid was from, but he beat him 5-2. Right. So, I mean, these weights,
Jacob.
they're little guys, right? So it's kind of hard when you get these little guys that Jack Barker from Livermore Elite. Okay. Haven't seen him. Again, probably incoming freshman.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably.
115s. Did you have anybody? Check.
No. I think our first weight would have been 120s. We had.
So okay.
We didn't, no one.
Okay. So we had. There was a couple kids. Valiant Prep was there. Some of the kids from Valiant Prep were there.
Well, I don't think Valiant Prep even does. They don't do a state, so they have to place probably at a national event to be able to qualify.
Right.
We'll have to register early.
Well, if they won like high school nationals or any of those other things, would get you early.
So Arizona club, right?
Yeah, they are.
What's that? Charter school,
Cejudo, right? Okay. His club.
I think the only people at the school are wrestler kids.
I think that's the coaches, the teachers, the guy that pushes the trash. They're all wrestlers. Everything is about wrestling.
It's not a principal Sycamore situation, is it?
I might be, man. It's a little shady, but everybody.
Bus drivers, they're all wrestler school, though.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, I like it.
Shout out to Valiant Prep. They did good out there. They took some kids that just wanted to go out there and perform. I mean,
we've wrestled a few of their kids. Their kids are
they come to wrestle.
Yeah, they got good kids.
Well, I think a kid, Isaac Torres, won that.
Okay, so that's the Bosco kid. I think he was their one
from Bosco,
15-pounder last year.
So I don't know much about him. Do you know anything about him?
I don't think CJ's ever wrestled him. I don't think he wrestled him last year.
Did you watch any of his matches?
I know he qualified for state, but I don't think he placed last year.
So he beat Carlos Melgoza, right?
From the Kingsburg kid, right? Yep. Okay. Now he was at 108s last year. Melgoza was.
And he pinned him. Says 2 minutes and 31 seconds, and he pinned him. So that's pretty good, right?
Yeah, Mendoza was a qualifier too. Melgoza was a qualifier.
I think his toughest match was with Jalen Wren. He beat Jalen Wren.
That's a good win because Jalen Wren's not bad.
3-2.
He was a qualifier last year for Clovis. I think he's at Memorial now this year though.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that. He beat him. Then he goes all the way and pins everybody into the finals.
Right. Torres won that one.
Torres won. Okay. Knocked it out. Went into the finals.
That's a couple good ones though with Melgoza and Wren though.
Oh yeah. And Wren came back and took a third. You know, 14-0 his last match I think it was. Yep. So and you said you didn't have anybody till 20. So this is probably where we're at now. All right. So you had probably the favorite going into that was Nathan Carrillo, right? He was at 20s.
Did he wrestled there?
Yeah, he wrestled. Okay. Oh yeah, he wrestled all the way through.
I can't imagine anybody gave him any run.
Probably the only kid he had a tough. No, he didn't. Everything he pretty much just abused everybody.
Yeah, I figured he would.
What school again?
He's from
Bosco.
He's from Bosco,
okay.
St. John Bosco.
He wrestled 20s last year. Didn't place, which was surprising, but Nate's solid.
Yeah, he didn't place at States, but we talked.
We all know Nate. Nate's been good.
He's solid. Kid is pretty legit. I mean, he went. He pinned a kid in 24 seconds, 15-0 on tech somebody.
Nate's good, and he's just coming off of surgery too.
Yeah. Right, and then in the finals, he beat Alvarez. I think he's from Vacaville. 11-1.
Yeah,
nice.
No, Nate's solid. Nate's good, man.
He did his thing. I'm trying to think who else was there.
Surprising, he's at 120s. He wrestled 120s last year. He's a pretty tall kid. He's pretty big.
He's a big boy. Right.
Because
who was at 26, right?
That probably was
Moses Mendoza.
I just looked at the bracket. That was probably one of the tougher weight classes. You had some of the better kids there. You know, just looking at the bracket, I wasn't there, but looking at the bracket, that had some of the better guys in that.
Who was your guy, and how did he do at 20s?
20s had a couple kids who go to Redwood. The high school my brother coaches at. One of them I was impressed with. Kobe Negretti. He's incoming fresh, or he's a freshman now. Still working out the kinks. He's a young kid. But I think he will end up being pretty tough. He would have got 7th or 8th. They only placed up to 4th. Yeah, but he would have got
top 4 qualified or whatever.
But we like some things we really liked that we did, and he's getting used to this. Kid hasn't never even been with the program before, so we like that. Man, he's finally getting consistent coaching and being coachable. He's on his way, so I was excited about his progress.
His name's familiar. I've heard his name before.
Yeah.
Where's he? He's not from Visalia though, right?
Tulare.
That's right. Okay.
Yep. So excited he's with the school, and
look at that, Juan Redwood getting transfers, dude.
The thing that was a surprise.
And went 120s.
Dude, yeah, he got big. So it was a surprise. You asked me.
He was at 6th last year.
I looked at him. He's long. He's taller.
His dad's a bigger guy.
Yeah, and he's thick. He got thicker. He definitely got thicker. I'm not sure how much he got there, but what was interesting is that Alvarez kid, which is brother to the other Alvarez from Vacaville, right?
Yeah.
He beat him, pinned him.
He pinned Bozana or Bozana pinned him?
Nope. Bozana got pinned by.
He probably goes 15s this year anyway, but.
I don't see how else. I mean, we talked about that before. Like,
yeah.
How do we skin the cat there, right? But he did look big and tall.
Right.
Yeah, but they're growing. They're all growing boys.
And it's summer.
Look, this is going to Super 32 it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Right. You win it. Well, confetti flies out of the, I think, or whatever, and colleges immediately start, wanting to talk to you or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's the grandfather of all high school tournaments, arguably Fargo and Super 32.
Yeah.
But I also think, like, realistically, you got to do the math. You're going to get state placers and state champs at that tournament because they're all trying to get
state placers, state champs that don't place at Super 32.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You can go out there and say, I'm just trying to get better, or you can go out there and do something. And I just think it's hard.
That's
it's
an expensive trip just to.
Well, that was my point. It's $2,000,
man.
right? I would always tell Jonathan, hey, listen, bud, no pressure. But we just, here's where we're at, right? Never forget, took him to Tulsa one year. He got sick. And what can you do? That happens. And I said, look, all I'm asking you to do is give it a try.
Yeah.
He won 2 matches and lost 2 matches, and he was out. And hadn't done that in a long time. And it happens. And I said, hey, dude, you at least took a stab at it. You were sick, and it happens. No excuses, and it is what it is. But, yeah, we spent all that money.
Yeah, I know, right?
What are you going to do?
I got a running tally on what they owe me, man.
Right? So, okay, did you have anybody at 26s?
Caleb Rivas. Okay, so how did he end up doing? Do you remember? He lost his maybe was it quarters and then Conti semis and then lost his true fourth. Battled. I mean, he's a kid that
they did a true fourth out there.
Yeah, they had to because remember top 4 qualify to get early entry.
Okay.
Yeah, so a little getting over the hump with him of just some technical things and how I want to see him wrestle. And I think he's a kid. I mean, he's one of the kids we were talking about earlier, a small school kid doing it on his
Caleb's
own.
tough though. I mean, he placed a state last year. He took 8th at 115 last year. So
he's very tough, and I try to explain to him for the levels you want to get to. If you want to keep moving forward up, there's just some things you're going to have to improve. And he's been very coachable and embraced the way I've been challenging him. I might have honestly cost him matches. If I would let him wrestle the way he wrestles, he maybe would have squeaked out some wins. But I told him, I'm willing to take the losses right now to move forward because the match you want to win, this is how you're going to have to do it. Who
did he take losses to?
So that weight class was pretty good.
Yeah, that one had some really good kids in it from what I saw.
Yeah, so he lost to Ashton Besmer.
Okay, so we know Ashton.
9-0. Besmer is one of those guys. It's a dark horse. People either they know or they don't know, and I only mean like if you don't know who he is,
right.
He is going to put it on. Yeah. He's going to come out there. He's going to bang. He's going to wrestle you.
Well, we all said Ashton. If Ashton was in the starting lineup for Buchanan last year, he would have placed that stick for sure.
And he took out Caleb, right? 9-0, pretty definitive.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I was really impressed with his ability to move.
Ashton's tough. He's good.
He was. He got into the finals. With Moses Mendoza. Okay. And I mean, I think the match was 6-4 in the finals.
It was close.
It was closer, but I think Mendoza was doing Mendoza things, right? And so he was absolutely doing what he does best, which is, hey, you're going to fire off on me. I'm going to waterfall over you. I'm going to hold on. Scrambling with you. And you don't want to scramble with him.
What school is he from?
He's from Gilroy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the kid, this is interesting because Gilroy has one of these dynamics where, like most powerhouses where they have guys that are 2 or 3 deep. The guys in front of him are the 2 twins, Isaiah and Elijah from Cortez. They are top tier guys. Not only in California, but in the nation. They're
going to have to figure that out. But Doc B champ last year. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So he's one of those guys. And Besmer getting in there into the finals. That's one I was very excited to watch.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Besmer got it. Like, he wasn't, he was excited about the match. I actually talked to him before the match.
He wanted that match.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He was super excited. So kudos to Besmer. 6-4. Hey, he didn't pin you. He didn't, run you around and embarrass you. He went out there and he banged.
Well, Ashton had some good ones last year before they got ready to postseason. I mean, he won some tournaments. Ashton's tough.
He's really tough. Matter of fact, the other kid I know you probably don't. Paris Reese and Besmer had a match.
So they wrestled each other.
They wrestled each other in the room.
That might have later implications.
Absolutely.
Later,
but you saw, I mean, both of them went out there and it's hard when you wrestle somebody
Yeah.
Like I do think you wrestle differently. Just like Besmer, I mean, it was 2-0.
Well, they'll probably both end up starting for Buchanan this year, I imagine.
Absolutely, I think they're both, and they're doing well. Like they're progressing. Yeah. But it's something like Paris Reese. What did he go last year? He was trying to go 20s,
and he tried to go
13 sixes.
Tried to go 13.
He's gotten another one that's gotten big. They've gotten thicker, stronger.
He looks big. Yeah, he looks big.
Desmer, same thing. He's growing. He's maturing. Yeah. So that was pretty good. Now that one probably had the most guys with the most weight class that did.
Sounds like it.
Who else was there? Yeah, so was Mendoza did whatever he was doing to everybody else on the other. I mean, he put up like 21. I can't even make this up. He had 22-7 in the first match.
Moses did?
He was putting 22 points. Then he had 27-12 in his second match.
Oh, he's just cutting and releasing.
He was just doing his thing. And then into his third match, he majors the guy 18-6.
Sounds like the backside was rough there because he had some good guys in there.
I mean, Paris Reese and Besmer, it was awesome match to watch. So, let's see here. We're going down with that 26s.
So now you're at 32.
Paris Reese took a third, right?
Yeah.
And he had a tougher match with, who was that he wrestled? It was 4-3. So he had Sandoval.
Did he wrestle Caleb too? Did Paris wrestle? I
think he wrestled both of Buchanan.
So he got both the guys.
They were tough, man.
So Caleb had some good goes. Like he could see kind of where he's going to be at in the season.
Yeah. Well, and this is early on. This is nothing.
I mean,
it's just go get
may not even be at that. They might even compete at those weights. So it doesn't really matter.
No, I thought it was really good. Yeah, I think he beat Rivas 10 to, what was it? 10-0, right? No, Rivas won. I see it. Okay. 5-3. 5-3, sorry.
So that's close.
Yeah. Because he had another Reese in here. Troy, that's his brother,
that's
right?
His brother, yeah.
Oh, he's his brother. So Caleb beat his brother, and then he wrestles the other brother. That's wild.
So Paris
they're both the same weight?
So Paris can't get some get back for his brother then.
Yeah.
All right.
It was fun.
It was good. All right, so we're going to 32s real quick. So this was another one of those weight classes where I was trying to. It was big. The bracket was pretty big.
There was a lot of kids.
Yeah. So you had the kid Sheeran. He was in there.
Did you have anybody at 32, Jacob?
Not that I could think of.
I'm trying to see where this kid is from. Garcia. I think it's from the Pounders.
That's the Christian Garcia, right?
Yeah.
He's a walnut kid. He's not bad. He's not bad though.
Yeah, that's who got into the finals with Sheeran. Sheeran beat him 3-1.
Sharon's a tough. He's big. He's big for 132.
He's a big boy.
He's big for 132.
Where's Sharon's from?
He's
from up north somewhere.
I'll tell you right now.
He goes to like one of those private schools, like St. Mary's or something.
Yeah, St. Mary's.
Yeah.
Ivan coming back and placing third. He beat. Who did he beat? I know he had somebody. But Villegas. But there was a forfeit. I think he forfeited to him. 138.
No, there's anything at 32s that surprised you? What happened at that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, how did we not talk about this? So this was. So Ivan, right? Uh-huh. He had a great match with Moniz. Hold on one second. Damian Alvarez early on.
So Ivan beat Damian Alvarez.
He beat him. I'm looking for the score.
Damian was what, third last year at 126 at state? That's big.
5-2.
That's big.
That is huge for a guy who didn't make the lineup at Buchanan.
No, that means Ivan,
beating Damian Alvarez. I think he's a senior this year, right?
Yeah, he's a senior. Yeah.
So that was pretty good. Because then I think after that, I mean, I don't know where you go from there, but like
I don't know either.
Like, what do you? Okay, so you're Damian Alvarez. It's early on in the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
But I will tell you, it can absolutely play with your head.
That's good for Ivan,
right? Because I'm trying to see if he stayed in here because I didn't see him on the backside anymore.
Oh, that he forfeited.
I think he forfeited out. That was a really good big win for.
No, that's good for Ivan for sure.
And I know you probably don't know some of these kids, but this is now we're gonna get to. I think you had somebody at 38s.
Yeah, Leo
Macias from Kingsburg.
Yep.
And then there was his training partner, right, Van Bieber. He ended up winning the whole thing.
Alec did?
Yep.
Okay.
He had some pretty good, I would say he had some tough matches. On the other side of that, there was Los Gatos kid, Timmy Marabito, senior. They had a pretty good match, but Van Bieber was just too much. It was 12.
Van Bieber, Alec's good. He was blood round guy last year.
He moves really well. I was impressed. He gets to his go behinds. He gets to things.
He's real
fires off. Yes.
He's real athletic.
Yes. There's he doesn't stop. If you don't wrestle him, you're going to be. He beat Vela, which I thought that was pretty good. 7-2 is probably his toughest match.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think who else was in there. That Marabito kid. I mean, so Leo dropped the match to Timmy Marabito, who ultimately got into the finals, but he lost that match.
What school was that one?
He's from Los Gatos.
Okay.
With Greg Varela.
Yeah. That kid did. Yeah. He wrestled through every position.
Yeah.
He kept wrestling. And
I think that little hesitation. I watched that match. I think Leo's little hesitation is what cost him these matches.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like he was in scoring position several times.
Yep.
And he kind of just stopped. that first contact, and then you're like,
Is that
come
your
on, man.
assessment too, Jacob?
Yeah,
Watching
yeah,
him,
and that's what
coaching him?
we've been working on. But like I've talked to I haven't talked to me out, talked to him tomorrow, but I didn't expect a night and day's change after 8 or 10 practices with this guy. I mean, like I said, it's going to be up to him to implement that in his own room, in his own game. We're on our way to fixing it. I'm correcting it. It's going to be up to him to take that on. And like I said, he is in scoring situations on good guys.
Yeah.
Leo's
always been like
that's
that.
the first step.
Been
you got to give yourself a chance, but you got to. Yeah.
That has to be a mindset
Yeah.
of, I didn't finish. I haven't scored. So I do think there's something about that.
Yeah.
Like, you have to break that cycle. So you're working with him because he looks great. He drills well. He hard worker, always has been, but he has these little hesitations where I think he could do so much more and achieve so much more if he just allowed himself that opportunity. It's not enough to get to a lake. Yeah. I told John, I always joke with Jonathan about this. I was like, hey, dude, you can't be a dog, get to the car, and you chase it down and you don't know what to do with it. Yeah. Like, what the hell? Yeah. No, dude, you got to go out there. What did you want to do with it? Why did you catch it?
Yeah.
Like, I want to bite this tire. Go bite the tire. You got to go score.
Right.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, you have to score. And that ultimately for us, same thing. We'll talk about it, but it costs you. You got to finish shots. You got to finish takedowns. There's no points in getting to a leg. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
No, I don't know anybody who just gives you, oh, yeah, well, you tried. Yeah. That's nice. So that's 38s. Going to 44s. New weight classes, right? So we're going to 44s.
So they did all the new weight classes then for this too?
Yeah.
Which I think this is where it gets different. I'm not familiar with these weight classes, so I'm still learning what
there's a change, right? It's different.
Well, for us, like anybody who knows, I think, this in this area, the guys that are really good studs, you had Tommy Thompson who was there.
Yeah.
So I remember him getting hurt, and I don't know that he placed last year at States.
I don't think he did.
I think when he got hurt, I know I can remember seeing him in crutches, and it was, it's a tough thing because he had an injury. And getting him back out there, he looked really good. First matches, he
moves well.
Oh, man. He was killing people. He was doing great things. And then you look, and then I think into his semifinal match, I think it is a semifinals match, something happened. He had an injury. We're hoping he's okay. It was pretty scary because it looked like something with his elbow, maybe a hyperextension or something came through. He was in a lot of pain. Hopefully, to his family and him, absolutely.
Tommy's good. Tommy's tough, man. Tommy's good.
And he would change the dynamic up. If he goes in a weight class, you got to account for him.
Yeah.
Tommy's one of those guys that...
If he's on, and he could beat almost anybody when he's on.
Absolutely. It's a shame. So, do you know him? He's from Exeter?
Yeah. He's a guy I started when I was watching just matches when I was in college and stuff. I keep up with guys I've worked with before, I know of, and I was like, I like this guy. He wrestles hard. You love how he moves.
He moves well, yeah.
Yeah, so when I heard that, I was like, man, thoughts and prayers, man. Hope he gets back. Nothing serious. Yeah, I hope everything's good there because I enjoy watching him wrestle, actually.
Yeah, no.
52s. No, 50s. 50s. 50s.
No, it's 52s, right?
No, it's 50s.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. Weight classes, man. It
would
have been 48.
It's going to take a little while to figure them out.
So, I mean, I don't, Joseph Toscano at 150 pounds, he wins this thing. That was pretty good because he's feeling that bigger. I mean, I thought that was pretty good. Those guys were putting their hands on him, and I saw all of his matches. I think it was really good. He got the Shemeski kid from Valiant Prep.
Okay.
Right? That was pretty good because the kid, prior to that, getting to the semifinals, he beats Damian Montoya. That was a tough match. I thought Damian actually had him for a little while.
Oh, yeah.
Beating the Shemeski kid, and then Shemeski just turned it on, was able to hit some takedowns at the last minute when it mattered the most, and he beat him. But he got into it. Toscano, I think the score was 5-3, right?
What'd you think Anthony had to go?
Kid was big.
Yeah.
He's a big boy, huh? I was surprised some of these guys cutting early on.
You saw that a little bit. I was like, we were going to say nothing.
Hell, this is
a little bit of it.
I was just looking around like, this is for fun, right? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? And it was like, no, it was real. So who else was there? Valiant Prep has some kids in this thing.
Yeah.
And that kid is no joke. I've seen him wrestle before. He's pretty good. And Joseph handled him. He said, and then I remember
Joe's good, man. I mean, Joe was runner up the state last year. Yeah, Joe's good.
And it was funny because he was like, oh, he was big.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
So, and then even at a third, I'm trying to think who took that third and fourth, right? Montoya took a third, ended up pinning this guy.
Now you said he looked pretty good.
Oh man, what's funny is Damian is really he's starting to look like his brother.
He's standing out a little bit.
And his brother, taller. Oh yeah, leaner, taller, and then Sergio had. Did you ever know Sergio Montoya went out to? He's going to Oregon State.
Right? Yep.
His foot movement, I say by far, some of the most.
Well, before if he didn't hurt his shoulder, he probably would have placed top 3 last year.
Oh, absolutely,
easily.
Yeah, 70s, right?
Yeah,
he looked good. And he looks like his brother a little bit. He kind of
Nice.
shadows of his brother when he's doing his thing. So I thought
he's at
pretty
Memorial too. He's at the new Memorial program.
That's going to be interesting because I'm not sure how many kids went over there. I think it was just him, right? Because his dad's a head coach now over there. And
I know of him and Ren. Outside of that, I don't know.
Ren's over there. Okay.
I don't know how many other kids are there.
We'll see. But he went out there to perform, right? He did his thing. So good on him at that weight class for sure. 157. So we're almost there. You had some of the Clovis North with the twin. Mark Del Bosque was there. He had a tough match. I'm not sure how that all went down, but it was a kid from Valiant Prep. Another kid.
They took a lot of kids over here then.
Dude, that kid dominated through the whole thing.
Yeah.
He 17-2 in the finals. Is that good?
Oh wow.
That's good.
Yeah. Is that good?
Well, here's the kicker.
Okay,
he beat Maribel. Moses Maribel from Gilroy.
Really?
And
Moses tough too. Wait, was this? You said 57s?
Yeah, and Moses looked thick. It wasn't like, he was giving up a lot of size on the kid. But that kid moved. I was like, oh man, that was good. Did you see that one by any chance? No. Did you have anybody around this weight now? Not yet, right?
I might.
57?
Yeah, I might have. Yeah, I did. Another kid from Redwood too. Got like 7th or 8th. So I was aware of a lot of the kids I saw. I mean, there's some tough kids in that way. There's some grabbers, yeah. So yeah, I don't know.
That was
all
a
their
big
names,
bracket too. It was a pretty decent sized bracket.
But yeah, I watched a lot of those matches. I saw a lot of good things.
So you have what, 65s now?
Yeah, 65s. I would have said that Moses Maribel would have won that. I just didn't know who that other kid was, but now I know. He's pretty good.
He's pretty good.
Yeah. So Del Bosque took a third, came back,
Nice.
stayed composed, did his thing.
That's a North kid?
That's the North kid,
Yeah.
the twins, and I think Gabe Flores being on that program is only going to help that program.
It's brand new basically, right? I mean, Gabe's kind of just starting from scratch for the most part, so that's going to take a little while to kind of get it going.
Yeah, for sure. So we're at 65s.
65s.
Did you have somebody at 65s?
No 65s. No.
What did you think with these kids? Like, as you're getting the bigger, did you see like, okay, they're moving at a speed when you're watching the bigger boys, or you're thinking, man, they're still like two or three steps behind where if they're gonna take that next big leap?
Yeah, I would go. I mean, I went from watching like Caleb's 126 and watching. I mean, there wasn't a huge slowdown in speed, especially from the top end guys. They were moving well.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really see a big difference. I mean,
No.
saw some tough kids up there, man.
Yeah. It was. I mean, in this weight class,
wrestling.
there was some good. I'll tell you who impressed me.
Okay.
Khalil Garcia from Gilroy.
From Gilroy.
I think he was undersized for this. Probably, didn't want to cut or whatever.
He probably just went however he was.
But he gave Dylan Pyle one hell of a match. I really thought he was going to pull it off. Dylan looked a little bit thicker, but technically, Khalil was there in the fight. And that's really where I heard Jerry Abbas, their coach over there now.
Yeah,
so he's coaching with them.
Right.
But he was in his corner and pumping him up and getting him going, and he was moving his feet and trying to get to attacks. Yeah. I do think his cardio maybe not quite there yet because
it's off season for the most part. Right?
So he's that's Gilroy's club.
Yeah,
Pyle kid.
Gilroy.
The other ones.
Yeah, Khalil Garcia's with Gilroy.
Okay.
Pyle's Los Gatos.
Los Gatos with Greg Varela.
Right.
He's probably his guy.
He placed that state last year, I think. Right.
He took a fourth.
Yeah.
At 60s.
So that's. I mean, he gave him a good run. That's good. Then.
Yeah, he did. It was a really good match because then Pyle had some tough matches. We had another kid that we know, Angelo Barona, right? He wrestled Pyle, and I thought he gave Pyle a hell of a match.
Buchanan kid.
Oh yeah, Buchanan kid hadn't made the lineup yet, but he went out there and he wrestled him tough. The thing with him is he gets to hooks, and he.
You talking about Pyle now?
No,
Barona. He's
Angelo,
a big kid, man.
Dude, when he puts his hands on you, and
I want to have a body like him when I get bigger.
He scoops you up. His arms, I mean, it's just not even.
He's a big, solid kid,
right?
Man.
And even Jonathan said he is strong as hell.
Yeah, he looks strong.
He lifted Pyle up in the air. Pyle, his eyes went big, like holy crap. He wrestled the position, and Pyle was able to pin him at the end, but it was all he could handle towards the end of the third period.
Right.
But I think Angelo is that dimension that he has. He has to allow himself to fire off to takedowns. You can't just body lock people.
Can't muscle everybody around.
Right, because that's just eventually you're going to get the guys who's like, man, I'm going to toss you too. Like, whatever, yeah. So he put himself in a bad situation, but he came back and he was doing really good. Pyle went out there. Then he has Khalil. So he went kind of through the gauntlet, right? Pyle has he has Bajarona, then he has Khalil Garcia, which was 6-3 match, really tough match. And then into the finals with Eric Cortez. If you're not familiar with Eric Cortez, he's up from the north. I think he was at Algrove.
Is he in high school?
I don't think he's technically going to high school. I think he's the age of high school, of course.
Right.
But I don't know that he is or isn't.
Because
Right?
he came with registered under like Alpha Male, right, or something like that.
I think he's actually with Alpha Male. He's going to do MMA.
Yeah.
I know he does a lot of that stuff, and I think he may be just wrestling to wrestle. But it's a shame because Eric would have been one of those guys who's definitely a contender to get up there and place, be a state placer.
Whatever.
Eric Cortez beats Mark Del Bosque from Clovis North.
Okay.
Very close match, 3-2. It went down to the wire. It was a really good match, and those kids are just getting better.
Yeah.
But then he has to face McDowell, right? McDonald, who is
the Fountain
the
Valley
brother,
kid.
right? The Fountain Valley kid.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if they didn't know or somebody didn't give them the memo, but you don't need to cut to, qualify. You could go whatever weight class. You just got to qualify, right? But he chose 65. He was by far bigger than everybody else there.
The McDonald kid.
Oh, it's insane. And he looked bigger than Jonathan, who was at the next weight class.
Right.
That
well,
was like
brother was huge last year. Right.
Right. But I'm just thinking,
have you seen that kid,
wow.
Jacob? The McDonald kid at
monster,
82 last year.
I was just thinking, why?
Some guys did it, man.
Good practice, maybe, whatever. But brother, like at some point, and then only Eric beat him, who was much smaller. Beat him on takedown, 3-2, and then Eric loses to Dylan Pyle, 3-0 in the finals. Which honestly, he gave him a much better match. So I was impressed. Donald took a fourth. Khalil Garcia took a third. That's kind of how that ended up. And then we're going to go to 175s.
You want to skip 75?
Yeah, I want to skip 75s. So we had, obviously we had my son in there, but so Jonathan, went in there, did his thing. I think there was some other good kids here. Branson, John from teammate from Buchanan did really well. They both dropped matches to Mason on Tavares, right? And they in the scrambles they'd beaten them before, and they've gotten back and forth. So these are good matches. That's really why we were there.
Tough. Mason state placers. So.
Absolutely, there was no Mason. He comes in and wrestles. You can't make mistakes because Mason will capitalize.
Mason's a goer. He's never going to stop.
He will not stop.
That kid's got a gas tank that is phenomenal.
He will. You would think he's kind of an in and out, and I think you look at the video, whatever. Jonathan, we talked about this a little bit. His mistake. I mean, you want to break down a little bit of that match?
Yeah. I mean, I think Jonathan was wrestling well all day, really. Just a little bit of, I should have noticed it earlier. He's shooting a crosshand single underhook, head on the wrong side. That's our first problem. Probably not the shot without that head position and the right shot. But either way, he's getting in, he's attacking. I love that. But the little bit backing up, the weight's on top of him, and he goes kind of run the pipe. Kid's head's down, he goes cradle, but the weight's still going into him. He gets ran over. Props to the kid for capitalizing. That's what you got to do. This kid makes a mistake, keep my hips in, run him over. Boom. Get that. Yeah, it's hard to come back 5-0, especially if you're looking at minute 30 periods, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's not even 2 minutes. So we're working with less time, playing catch up on a kid who is at 5-0. He doesn't need to do much now to win this match. And
he's a solid wrestler.
He's solid to begin with. He's not making mistakes.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thing that I took away from Jonathan. I told him, listen, kudos on you. You fought off your back.
That's huge, yeah.
And then you got out. Now your energy bar is way down. We're in the probably orange here, right? And then you got to come back and score. And he does.
Panicking a little bit, right? Because
you're like, he's got to chase it.
I got to make up this difference.
I love that he did that, though, because, I think he is bigger than making one mistake and just the matches away from him. I think he could still be, let's do it again. Go down 5-0. I believe in him to do that. And we got to be bigger than making one mistake and matches over for us.
Yeah, and he composed. He doesn't do cheetah flips or whatever. But
I love what I saw from him. Yeah,
he just comes back and he talked to him and broke it down. But you said, okay, we've had great matches. Probably won the last 4 engagements with him the last time they've wrestled.
Right.
So it's been good. But Mason is solid. He's going to keep wrestling. And I tell him, you're going to see him again. This is not going to end until you guys are graduating. Even then, in college, maybe you'll see each other.
They'll wrestle each other a lot this year. Probably.
Even the Branson with Branson, his match, Branson's winning. Yeah. Branson's winning that match with
Mason.
His
semis match, right?
Yes.
Oh man, that was a fun match to watch.
Yeah,
watch that one too. That kid just stays. He's not.
I will say this though. Yeah. Mason was done in that match.
Yeah.
And
took a little break.
Yeah. The coach told him,
"Oh, he did a little.
Do this.
Refocus.
Get your composure.
Nice.
And let's get you back in." And Mason was like this. Kudos to his coach from Vasky Brothers to bring him back into the match, keep him focused.
Right.
And then Mason got his third wind and went after him and scored. And now
he did.
And Branson had to get out.
So he wrote him out.
And he couldn't get out, and that would have tied the match because it was 3-4. So those are the differences, right? And they've had great matches. They traded wins.
Yeah, they gone back and forth.
Branson came back, took a third, right? And Larry Borelli was there. There was a couple other kids there, so it was good.
Yeah.
Anything else in there?
No,
I told him I laugh because John is one of those kids. The minute that thing is over, I get
just forgets about it.
They're like that dude's.
Yeah,
like,
we'll lose sleep over it. But
right,
it's
where's my
right,
burrito?
though. Yeah.
Right, like, and he cares. He cares, but
right.
It's more like okay.
You don't dwell on it though.
What for? Like, but it's not the end of the world.
I like it. You don't sit in your own crap. You know.
Right. It's not fun.
Because either way, if he won or lose, it's still the same goal. He still has to get better.
That's it.
So
and that's what we did. I mean, anyways. So we're gonna go to 90s. Goes 75 and 90s this year, right? Big jump.
It's a huge jump.
I think that's what will condense some weights. We'll see what happens. But I was incredibly just surprised to see Brock Borelli from, training with the Vasquez brothers, but in Pittman. Right. I couldn't believe he was at 190s.
That's a big jump.
He came around the corner, put my hands on him. He is solid. Yeah. He looks good. He doesn't look like I thought. I don't know how he was going to handle that weight class. He was always like maybe a weight class below us.
Right.
Now he's another weight class and then some at 90s. And he said, look, I feel good. I feel great. And then I see him. We had a kid at Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
So he wrestled him from our program too, right? From Buchanan.
Right.
Same teammates. Then, wow. He put his hands on him.
Really?
And typically they're leg riders. They get in, they want to do a power half. That's kind of their go-to signature, and you got to know that's coming. I don't think Shawn Michaels read that quite right, and he got in, put both hooks in, got him flat, power half. That's what happened, right? So it was tough, and it was tough, and it wasn't like one of those. You remember Brock when he was little? Brock was one of those guys who was just tenacious.
Right. He was just missing a little bit of technique.
Oh yeah, but he came hard and overwhelmed him.
Yeah.
I mean, he had another impressive win. So Brock won the whole thing. And it wasn't even like a thing. He pinned everybody. I thought, we thought we were going to catch Carlos Garcia from Oakdale.
Okay.
So, he was at 75s, jumped up to 90s. Looked pretty big to me. That kid looks pretty big. But I don't know. So he goes out there and Borelli pins him.
Nice.
Pins him. Then he gets into the finals with one of his teammates, Carter Van Est, same program,
yeah.
And he gets 15-2.
Okay.
That was kind of the roll up of the tournament.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on the tournament this weekend? I know there's not a lot, but we're just trying to talk about the wrestling that's going on.
Right. Well, with that, how you're saying the heavyweight? I mean, the best heavyweight in California was wrestling. Who was number one? Now he goes 220s or heavyweight. We don't know, but I mean, he's.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, right? Just to add it to this.
Yeah, we'll just knock it out.
First of all, California kids. I was just awesome to see California kids in who's number one, getting that national attention they deserve. Do you want to talk about Merrill first, or do you want to talk about?
We can talk about Merrill since we were talking about the heavyweight stuff anyway.
So, do you know Cody Merrill?
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe this guy. He's an anomaly.
He's the Dragon Warrior, dude.
Did you see them? Did you hear the music?
Yeah, dude.
I love that.
Did you watch it? Did you like that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you gotta watch it. He comes out to Kung Fu Panda, the Panda music.
Well, I guess they said his Instagram handles like the Dragon Warrior.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
some of the kids follow him, and that's like his thing.
It is his mantra. Like the flow guys are like, what the hell? Like they were trying to understand.
I like it.
You like it?
Oh, it was wild. They're playing the whole.
It was all Zen and everything. Came
Zen.
out and shit.
Yeah.
But he comes out and has bad intentions.
Now I tell you what, my opinion, any weight, he's the best wrestler in the country. I don't care what pound for pound. I think he's the best.
He's like
wrestler.
a Gabe Stevenson, right? Yeah. He is.
It's just like Gabe Stevenson.
He is unbelievable.
And I hate people normally go, oh, the little guys, the best guys, they're the fast, most technical. That is true. They're very fast and technical. But man, there is an art to moving big bodies.
This kid's phenomenal.
And to execute and do what he's doing to big bodies. It's art,
it is what it is. He put a beating on that dude and didn't look like he went out of like second gear.
No.
I don't even think he was so far ahead of everything that was happening.
The
other kid wasn't no joke, but he's a Greco guy.
That kid beat him.
World team member
earlier in the year, or this past year or whatever. But,
they were saying in the preview, right? They've had wars at Fargo and stuff. Yeah. So man, to do that, he's insane.
But for him to dominate,
it wasn't even close. Like I said, he looked so smooth. It didn't even look like he was trying. And I think it was like 11-2 or 13-2 or something like that.
So Gilroy's got, that firepower.
Yeah, and then you got Daniel, who wrestled at 38.
Daniel's a Zepeda.
What year is Merrill?
He is a junior.
He's a junior. Daniel's a junior too. So they're both juniors. So they both
got
have
another year from them.
Non-commits?
Neither of them yet.
Now, Daniel did
Yeah.
He did throw something out there, possibly going to Arizona State. Didn't officially say anything, but it was kind of like, he was kind of like,
Yeah, he put out there.
innuendo.
He's looking at things. I think Daniel.
Oklahoma State's always going to be a fact. It's always going to be.
Well, because they had DC there, right?
Yeah,
so
that's
they
always
think,
going to be.
This is a connection.
It's always going to be a pipeline.
But you look at like what Daniel Zepeda did with arguably very.
No, it's close at first. Like that first initial scramble they had in that first period was freaking awesome, dude.
Well, I mean, you look at that and you say, okay, the composure for both of them, just to keep wrestling the positions.
Well, the Bassett kid's training partners, Jack Forrest, who anybody who watches wrestling knows that kid scrambles. His match before that with Rainey was probably the best match of the day.
So I always say, I mean, I know wrestling, they don't have belts, right?
Right.
But if you had a belt, those two kids were doing high level black belt degree of scrambling, right?
Yeah.
And Zepeda to be able to do that, I don't think people understand.
Now, surprisingly, when we first saw who he was wrestling, we all thought he was going to be way bigger than him. He wasn't that much bigger.
No. I will tell you, Bo looked big.
Yeah, like
bigger than he's looked in a long time.
It was surprising that it was like when they
kind of
when they were like side by side. I was like, oh, he's not. I mean, he was a little bigger, but not significantly like we thought he was going to be.
But look, yes, they went into deep waters. This is what I love about Zepeda.
Right.
You have the definition of a guy. You always see that poster with the guy in the X-ray, and it's got a pet bull as a heart, right? That's Daniel Zepeda.
Yeah,
that's defined.
There is absolutely.
And for a little while, watching it, like started the second period, halfway through, like he looked like he was getting a little gassed, but then he got like a second win, and that third period, he just. Well, what I love,
he's a competitor, and he doesn't. He's not here to lose.
No,
I would even like. He turned it up another notch.
Yeah, he did.
He had to. He had to dig deep into his things to go.
He looked great, man. I mean, we all were talking like we all figured he would pin him or bonus him, and he ended up doing it. But I think it was tougher at the beginning than he thought. But then he got it done.
Look at the high level degree when you watch the match, and people that watch it. I hope everybody pays attention to how they were passing legs.
Yeah,
and they were already 3 moves of what they were doing. Hands were being posted. They were coming up and elevate.
Blocking the elbow so we can't turn it. They were doing all that
immediately. And then when Zepeda finally dialed it in, right, and he puts him to his back, little adjustments. You didn't see him big old movements and trying to freak out about what's happening. I was super impressed. Yeah. I've always been with that kid to do what he did, and then he just said, "I'm gonna stick you."
Yeah.
Man,
I like it.
No, Daniel's gonna be scary this year.
And he does his little backflip, lands into his little pose and stuff at the end.
He had the coolest hair that was there.
Right.
He had the coolest hair.
That's kind of
a little Dennis Rodman-esque.
He has a little, he's got some zest to him. He does his thing and good on it. But look, you just won that thing.
Yeah.
Do whatever the hell you want, right? Now colleges are going to. I'm sure they all want him. They want to talk to him, see what's what. Hopefully that kid. I mean, he's
going to be one of the higher. I think him and Merrill probably 2 of the highest uncommitted recruits right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Everybody. NIL, whatever comes in, people are going to be having that discussion with him. I would. Look, kid, you get one chance at this,
Yeah.
Go out there, make the best of it, and see what happens. Go to a program. He's talked about wanting to go to a program that has an RTC because he wants to do freestyle. He wants to do that next evolution, but he's owning it, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Both of them were great yesterday.
But, to finish up the whole Gilroy thing, what do you think about, Coach Abbas going to Gilroy?
I think it's going to help them. They lost Duran. Duran went to
Fountain Valley.
He's going to run to RTC, I think.
Yes.
I don't know. What do you think, Jacob, being from a coach? Do you think a coach like Jerry is going to make a huge impact on that
100%.
lineup?
So he's doing the youth club aspect of it? Is that what he's...
I think he's going to be coaching the high school.
I think so, too.
Coaching high school.
Because I assume he just replaced Duran, basically,
absolutely.
right?
Oh, I didn't know Duran left. So
because DC was there, but I didn't see him in anybody's corner a whole lot.
Yeah,
He was there, but Jerry was...
Yeah, because Duran left, right? He went to Fountain Valley. He's running their RTC, and I'm assuming he's going to help out with the high school program. So I think Jerry's just the replacement, right?
Okay. I mean, I've always liked Jerry. Like I said, when I mentioned Dave Schultz earlier, I mean, he had me going with a lot of different guys. I mean, Isaac Olenek, All-American, Devontae Demison, who I used to wrestle, JJ Figueroa. He's always had hammers. I mean, his son. And everywhere he goes, he's had good guys. I mean, Rancho, I never heard of Rancho before he went there, to be honest.
Right.
He does get some guys really good, and I always like working with him. He's all about the technique and working with your skills and being water. I mean, I always love working with him. I've stolen some things from him too, just how he approaches the sport. So I say, that's going to impact the program.
I think so too, because in that sense, I don't think they miss a beat.
No, I don't think so.
No.
High level technique.
Yep.
guys that can relate. I mean,
Right. I know they're best guys. It might not make too big of an impact because they're all great already. But it definitely is going to help the guys that are just kind of close, and then he'll just kind of.
By the way, he's another guy that's passionate about the sport. That's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's great to have around kids. He's a high level guy.
We said a little bit. Gabe Flores going over to Clovis North, right?
Right.
We'll talk about down the road too a little bit about that impact. But
I think we'll have Gabe on. So
yeah, we might ask him to come on.
That.
Yeah, that'll be good. I mean, they're starting something there because that's a program they could, with somebody like that.
It's kind of like what Jacob's doing, right? I mean, he's starting from scratch, kind of for the most part, trying to build something. Gabe's basically going to be doing the same thing, starting kind of from scratch. They lost some of their better guys that they had with them, so he's starting over basically and building something.
Anything else that we want to mention, or we kind of want to close?
Yeah, Jacob. Anything you want to throw out there? Tell everybody how to reach you, or what you got going on before we close
like I said, either my personal Instagram, Jacob Wright on there. You can just look that up, or my Wright Wrestling account on Instagram. Message me, get a hold of my phone number. I'm not hard to reach. Like I said, I'm here for everybody. Love to help any way I can.
For sure. I selfishly, I would say, you guys don't call them all the time. No, but it's great that you grow in something.
Remember who went to you first?
But it's good. We really appreciate you coming in. Talking on the podcast. I mean, hopefully, this was a good experience for you.
Yeah.
We're excited about what you're going to do with your program and see where it goes with that. Especially if you're bringing freestyle. I think that's something that the Central Valley definitely is. Yeah, there's not enough of that.
There's not that much of that.
Yeah, for sure.
No, yeah, absolutely. It was fun to come on here. Like I said, we basically do this before and after practice almost every day anyway. So This was fun to do, man. You guys are fun to talk to, wrestling with, and I think this is gonna grow into something cool and special because nobody's doing this either. So
we're trying to do something so that people can at least listen to it. Disagree, agree, guys. Put your comments down in the link below and tell us what you think. Yeah. But I think it's just another one of those voids that we want to fill. Right?
Yep.
To help out, start that conversation. We're going to have tons of topics that I think people are going to be interested in or not, and whatever.
Right, or whatever. Yeah.
We'll figure